Hello, lovies. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm Gina. I am hiding behind the camera again today. Anyway, I wanted to make a cool beach jacket out of something in my favorite colors like teals and aquas. So I thrifted this plaid shirt and I also found this t-shirt. So for $5, I'm making the coolest jacket ever. And I grabbed this cool fabric from my stash. Okay, I tried it on. I marked it with a pin of where I want it to come down on me. So I know you can't go by lines because they're not always even. So I'm going to button this up so I could have it even. I'm going to take my chalk and I'm going to mark it. Mark it across here. I'll cut it, then I'll do the same thing on the back. Am I doing this right? No. and then I'm going to remove the buttons. I'm going to trim the sleeves, and then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a collar on like Jana did on hers. I thought that was really cool. I want to make it have that kind of that lapel blazer look. I thought that was really neat. I have some stuff in my stash that I think will be cute. Okay, so let's, alright, so if I mark it here, and I'm going to measure that. That was 5 inches. And I came in from the side, from here to, whoops, from here to here, that was like 6 inches. Alright, so 6 inches, that's about here. Then we're going to go down 5. Well, that's like here. I think that's even. The front is even. The back is not even. Alright, so it's here. Let's bring that over to the back. Let's bring that over to the back. All right. So I am going to cut across here. Like my tattoo. I feel like a badass. It's from Ava. Ava gave me a tattoo the other day while I was working. She came over and just put it on my arm. Alright, let me cut that. Come up here. Let's try to make the back straight. I think I'm learning this with you right now. Okay, let's see what we got here. I mean, it'd be nice to have the back a little longer. I don't know. Do I want it that much longer? Maybe I'll cut the back here on this stripe. We'll use this stripe. We'll see how this works out. Boy, I can't cut a straight line today. That's what happens when I drink too much coffee. I used to drink coffee in the morning and make jewelry, and I was like, yeah, this doesn't work. This definitely doesn't work. Okay, we'll just kind of loop that. Okay, we'll kind of loop that. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take the buttons off. Let's see the sleeve. The sleeve, so we have this all the way up here. I'm definitely not using this. I'm definitely not using that button. So I'm going to cut this. I'll save that for something else. I'm sure I'll use it for something else. Somewhere, at some point. Who knows, maybe even on this. Who knows? All right, gonna remove the buttons and I'll come back and we will chit chat on what we're gonna do next. Here are the fabrics I pulled from my stash. I think I'm gonna make the collar out of this. I'm not sure. The sleeves, maybe both of them. I'm not too sure. Embellish with some of these beautiful vintage style roses. This is the piece I cut off the back just so you could see the colors, how they go nice together. All right, still not sure what I'm gonna do, but I'm excited to create something pretty. Okay, so we're gonna do this on the inside of the collar. That's the inside. We're gonna cover it. So, I'm going to take this piece of fabric. Ow. I'm going to pin it on. I'm just feeling for where I'm going to, again, second pin, 2 pinches. All right, there. Okay, there we go. I'm going to just cut. I'm going to do that. I'm going to feel so I don't go too far down. Okay. Take that away. Flip it over. After I pin this down nice, I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew it onto the collar. In Jonna's video, the inspirational video, she did wonky stitches. Wonky stitches is when you do the first row is a straight stitch and the second row is kind of like serpentining up and down the first stitch. I did it here on the collar. I'm not really a fan of it. You'll see it here. See, I did it here, but I don't do it throughout the rest of the jacket. I mean, you might like it. I understand why she does it, but I kind of like just the straight stitch. Now I'm making a pattern for a lapel. That's the part on a suit jacket that comes down from the collar, an extra piece of fabric. To make the right side and the left side of the lapel, you need to cut out 4 pieces. 2 of the pieces have to have the right side of the fabric facing each other, and 2 pieces of the wrong side of the fabric facing each other. This way you get a left and right side. Now I put the right sides together on both lapels, and I'm taking it over to my sewing machine and sewing it and leaving the bottom open to turn it right sides out. I am cutting the points off. I've sewn them already, and here I'm just cutting the points off, and now I'm going to turn them right sides out. And then I am going to sew the bottom closed. Hello lovies, if you're enjoying this video, can you give me a thumbs up? Can you like this video? Can you share this video with your friends who would also like to do upcycles one of a kinds? Thank you, I appreciate it. Now back to my video. Now I am positioning the lapels onto the shirt so that I get them in the right spot. But I have to fold over the fabric in the front of the shirt and sew that down, and then I will sew the lapels to that piece that I sewed down. I've decided to add lace trim to the lapel and the collar. After I'm done pinning these in place, I'm going to take them over to the sewing machine and sew them on to the collar and lapel. Okay, I have them sewed on now, and I absolutely love the way they look. And next I need to sew the lapel onto the shirt, and I'm going to make an extension of the lapel to go all the way down to the bottom. Now I made these 2 pieces that are going to go down the front, added onto the lapel that covers the buttons and the buttonholes. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the collar. I'm sewing the front of the shirt down, and then I will attach the lapel. Okay, it's sewed down now, just the edge there, and I'm going to attach the lapel. Okay, so here are my front pieces going down, my little decorative pieces, and while I'm pinning this, sewing this on, I'm going to think about what kind of sleeves I want to do. I am still very indecisive about the sleeves and how I want to. I have something that's going on the back, but I'm thinking about making the back a little bit longer, but not tuxedo tails. I'm definitely not into tuxedo tails, but I definitely do like longer backs on tops and jackets. So yeah, as I'm sewing this on, I will think about that because I'm not sure. I'm just winging it, and as I go along, figuring it out. But I did take the idea, the construction part of making a shirt into a jacket was definitely something that I learned from Jana from Broken Ghost. Definitely was something I learned through her, and I wanted to make one for myself. So let's sew this on and then sew it to the top and see where we're going from there. All right, got it sewed on. The collar. Love how it's looking. All right, now I'm going to add the bottom pieces. I sewed those, and now I'm going to sew them. I'm going to attach them. Okay, here we are. I pinned on the bottom pieces that add on to the lapel, the collar area, and I'm going to sew that on now with my sewing machine. And now I'm going to think about the rest of the design. I'm not sure how I'm going to end the bottom of this. I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. I'm not 100% sure with the sleeves. I'm thinking about opening them up down the center here and add in a piece to make it a big wide sleeve with some I have some nice white eyelet. I think that would be beautiful to make a big flared sleeve. I think that's what I'm going to do with the sleeve. And like I said with the bottom, I'm not sure yet. I can make more of this and put that around the bottom. That might be a nice way to end it. We'll see. Let me sew on this part, come back, try it on, and show you what it looks like. Okay, it's all sewed on, and I have decided to open up these sleeves, and I'm going to add some pretty white eyelet, and I'm just going to make it larger. Instead of fitted to your arm, I want it to be a little loose and flowy and roomy. After I cut up the center of the sleeve here, the top center, I am going to measure the cut, and then I'm going to measure how wide I want the insert to be. So 16 and a half, 8, center is 4, so we're going to go like that. I'm going to do that so that 4 and a half, so it has some room. I like to make my insert a little longer so that if it shifts around and it moves, you have the extra fabric there. Because if it becomes too short, it's too late. There's nothing you can do about it. So, I mean, this is a little longer than I thought. My measurement was off a little bit, but that's fine. And also, the eyelet is a stretch fabric, where the plaid shirt is just a cotton. And I like to sew on the stiffer fabric. When you're sewing a stiff fabric to a stretch fabric, it's always best to stitch on the side of the stiffer fabric so that it doesn't move around. I'm just pinning the right sides together, and I'm going to sew them together on one side. Then after that, I'm going to turn it the other way around and stitch, pin the right sides together on the other side of my insert fabric to the sleeve, and I will sew that together. So here's what we have so far. My insert is all sewn into the sleeve. The extra length there on the lace can be either hemmed or trimmed. I have this cotton shower curtain that I used on another project, and I'm just cutting a strip off the bottom that already has the hem, so I do not have to make a hem. I just have to iron these now. The sleeve, and I cut my strip to that measurement, leaving adequate enough fabric to make a hem. And I am just putting it on. I'm putting right sides together. Notice that the hem is at the top here because we're going to sew the bottom of the strip to the bottom of the sleeve, and I'm lining up the seams, the underarm seam to the seam. And I'm going to pin it, and then I'm going to bring it over to my sewing machine and sew both sides on. I'm cutting this beautiful picture off this t-shirt, and I am going to put it on the back of my jacket. This is t-shirt fabric, so it is stretchy and it's lightweight. So I am going to put on iron-on heat and bond transfer on the back of it, and I'm going to iron it onto the back of my jacket. Whether I wanted to iron it on or sew it, I had to add something to it because to give it more stability. It was very lightweight, it was stretchy, and it would be difficult to work with. So I decided to just iron it on. I have plenty of videos showing you how to use heat and bond, so I'm not going to show you here and bore you. But here it is, placed on my jacket, and I am going to iron it in place. When you are using heat and bond for a jersey fabric like this, I highly recommend that you use parchment paper on top of it when you iron. Both times, when you are putting the heat and bond on the back of this and when you iron this straight to your jacket, shirt, whatever. Here's what we have so far. I think it looks great. I absolutely love it. I could leave it just like this and hem the bottom. I don't even have to do anything else with it. It's just so freaking cute. I decided to put a little bit of ruffle to finish off the jacket on the bottom. So I took another piece of that cotton shower curtain. I hemmed it and I cut how long was the strip? 5-inch strip. And I am going to just do a very light pleating. I'm not going to do a big ruffly ruffle with lots of pleats, just a light pleating. So here's what I did. Every 6 inches I put a pin, just fold it over a little bit, right sides together. It's already hemmed, so that's all I did. Now I'm going to go over to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew this on and I'm going to show you the finished look. Okay, so here is the back of the jacket. I just put that ruffle on. I think it looks pretty cute. I like it. I like it. It's not a big giant ruffle. It's perfect. Now I'm going to do the sides. So what I did was I took the corners and I put them together like this. Make them nice and even here. Right sides together, which is the way they are on here, so you'll be able to do that. And okay, gonna do that on both sides. This one was very long, that's why it has this extra piece, but I wanted it to be longer than shorter, because if it's shorter you can't do nothing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it up to my sewing machine, sew down here, sew down here. I will cut off the extra here, and then it's complete, and I will show you the finished product, finished DIY. Okay, let me bring it over to my sewing machine. Before I finish up this DIY, please like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel if you want to keep watching these. And as I always ask, is this something you would wear? Okay, back to the end of the video. And now for the final results.
Grandma's hands were rough but kind, worked the needle through the time. She taught me stitches and told me tales of patchwork hearts and how love prevails.
Thanks for watching.
Through scraps of fabric